Tisha and Marsau are hilarious to me. All of a sudden now Martell is a liar and he's deceiving and he's conniving and he's manipulative. He's all of the things that Melody has been saying that he was for years. Melody has said this, but because you guys weren't on the receiving end of his foolishness, because you guys weren't the brunt of his actions, it was funny. It must have been both of them. It had to have been Melody was antagonizing him. But now that y'all are his focus, y'all are his target, he is zeroed in on y'all. Now all of a sudden, he's this horrific person and we don't want to deal with him anymore. Y'all are so full of shit. It's ridiculous. But whatever. What's up, y'all? I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are here to talk Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 9, Episode 7, Game of Thrones. If you guys are brand new to the channel, do me a favor, or if you're returning and you have not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and then I don't have to tell y'all comment down below anyways. Let's get into it. So Melody and Tricia. So it picks up where the last episode left off, where excuse me, remember Melanie was talking to Tricia about how Tricia knew that there were these like insinuations, these rumors, these theories, this chatter about whether her and Martell did X, Y, and Z. And Melody is like, so did you know about that before I invited you on this trip? And Tricia is like, yes. So Melody is asking her, if you ever considered saying something to me before that? And Tricia is, being weird about it as she is. She is a weird lady, y'all. So Melody in her confessional said that it's weird that Trisha's own friends, Stormy and Destiny, brought it up at the table instead of pulling her to the side. So Melody is thinking that maybe they wanted to get a rise out of her. Maybe. Who knows? It does seem like Stormy and Destiny did just want to try to get a rise out of Mel, but it ended up making Tricia look horrendous and like a liar in that scene. So Tricia was basically out of her league within this conversation. She was. Melody was giving it to her 1, 2, 3, and Tricia like did not know how to react. She didn't know how to respond to any of this. She looked a fool, to be honest. But in her confessional, Tricia is saying that she doesn't care when people tell her stuff about her ex-husband, and the fact that Melody keeps saying that she doesn't care, but she is now questioning her kind of doesn't make sense. It does make sense because Melody was trying to see, Tricia, if you were messing with her husband while they were married. That's all it is. It's basically just making you look bad on TV. You don't care about your ex-husband because y'all have been separated. He's not involved in your children's lives. He's also not harassing you to the point that Martell is harassing Melody. But okay. So Melody said, Trisha invites Melody to her son's basically a graduation party. And Melody was like, so it should be kid friendly. So that means that it should be drama free because I've seen some drama at some people's houses. And then we get a montage of all the different drama that has taken place at their houses. We then see Chris and Nell. So remember, Chris is opening a new real estate office in northern Huntsville. So him and Nell are going through and looking at the place. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. They're probably going to just gut out the entire thing and do a brand new build up. So Martel pops by. Chris said that he went to see Marcel's house that he's building, which is, fairly close to this as well. Martel said F him. Said that Marceau started the argument. Martel feels that everything he said was factual. Martel is in his confessional saying that Marceau is foolish for even coming at him the way that he's been coming at him when he knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows all the skeletons in Marceau's closet. I still do believe that Martel does know about Marceau's indiscretions, but Martel doesn't have the proof of it. And that's the thing. It's going to come down to being he say. It's going to be, Martel's word against Marceau's, and Martel does not have the proof. Martel doesn't have proof, y'all. We know Martel doesn't have proof, but that does not mean that Marceau is innocent. That's the important thing to remember. So they feel that Nell feels that Martel should apologize to Tisha, and Martel said no. There were two men arguing, and Tisha inserted herself into that conversation. I do kind of agree with that. He does need to apologize to Tisha for sure. He was very rude to her. He was very disrespectful. He does need to apologize to her. But at the same time, Tisha did interject herself into that conversation. Two things can be true at one time. So he said he will not be apologizing to her, and basically the gloves are off and they're going to stay off now. I have seen that Tisha has done that interview, not an interview, but is it Carlos's Messy Mondays, where she made insinuations about Martell. I did see it, and I just kind of feel like at this point, when you go out and you make a statement like that, and you say it with your whole chest the way that Tisha did, she has to be prepared for what Martell does back. So when Martell comes in and does everything he can to basically blow up your life, you have to be prepared for that because you sat up on Carlos's channel and made that accusation with your chest and said that it wasn't alleged. So I hope Tisha is ready for that. So Martell said that, Tisha used to throw things in Melody's face about Martell. Basically, Martell feels that he don't know why Melody filed for divorce. He don't know where that came from, but he knows that Tisha is the cause of it, and that Tisha had an impact on the divorce. So it wasn't you having the baby. It wasn't you cheating. Okay, I just kind of feel like why is Martell still on the show? With all the different allegations that are going around, the fact that he is harassing his ex-wife, the fact that he is now basically harassing the entire cast, what benefit does he have on this show to Carlos? Because the ratings are down because people don't care anymore. The ratings are down for the show. The ratings are in the toilet. So what benefit does it have to bring Martell on this show and just cause just unbelievable chaos? It's not benefiting anybody. This isn't helping your show at all, Carlos. Carlos got to go back to the drawing board because this is not it. I'm curious as to how much longer this show can even sustain. We see Ken, he meets up with a friend at the bar and said that once the marriage with between Tricia and Marquez is finalized, that it's kind of like smooth sailing with him. Once she files the papers, he's gonna buy the ring. Ken talks about how Marquez has it out just for him. If it was anybody else, he doesn't think that Marquez would be having this big of a deal about it. Well, Ken, to be fair, you did have dealings and conversations, and according to Marquez, inappropriate conversations while they were still together and married. And I know that I know that Tricia and Ken like to say that, oh, well, whenever her and Marquez would get back, on good terms or whatever, the conversation, the conversing would stop. If it has to stop, then it was inappropriate. If it has to stop, then it was inappropriate. The fact that that was you and Marquez's first time having a conversation a couple episodes ago when you were living in the house with his kids, you didn't take the initiative to try to reach out or anything. I can see why he don't like you. I can see why he doesn't like you. So Ken is saying that he wants to have a conversation with Marquez at the barbecue. I think that's a terrible idea. I do. I think it's a horrific idea. So Ken's friend is like, look, talk to Tricia and just let her know that if Marquez comes in on that energy, if he comes in being weird, that he will be excluded from future events, whatever the case. That's the conversation y'all have to have. It seems like Tricia wants Marquez to come around right now for the ratings, for the show, like the actual show, and then for the show Love and Marriage Huntsville, because she thinks it's going to keep her on the show. I don't know. I just kind of feel like wanting to exploit your family and exploit your family drama for the sake of being on a low budget cable reality show, I guess. We see Tricia. So she's at her house and Destiny comes over. So Tricia is talking about how she's happy for her son, ready for him to leave so she can go party with the young kids. Girl, what? I am to assume that that's a joke. Whatever. So there's a knock at the door. It's a notary. So this woman comes in and Destiny was like, hi. If she didn't introduce you, don't say nothing, Destiny. She's clearly taking care of business. So I guess my thing is, why did you have Destiny come over if you knew that this notary was going to be coming over to sign these papers? It gave a little bit of performative, but whatever. Destiny is in her confessional saying that she thinks it is crazy that Tricia is casually signing papers because when she got divorced from Liberic, it took her a while to tell anybody. Like, she didn't even tell her dad until I think she said months later. There's a difference though, Destiny. You were embarrassed because you got divorced, what was it, like a couple weeks after you had your son? Tricia has been separated from this man for 5 years. She's ready to get a divorce. Let her tell it. You can't compare your situation to hers. Y'all had two very different situations. So Destiny then asks if she is now planning a wedding. And Tricia is like, I just got a divorce. Ken about to plan a wedding. Ken is about to plan a wedding though. So Destiny tells her, look, you are going to go through a grieving period. Tricia's in her confessional saying that Ken checks all the boxes, but so did Marquez. So she wants to give the relationship some time. Y'all have been together for 2.5 years. If after 2.5 years you do not know if this is truly the man that you want to marry, you don't want to marry him. You don't want to marry him, and you should probably be more honest with him about that. But to say that Marquez checked all the boxes, aren't y'all high school sweethearts? Didn't y'all get married like right out of high school? So, of course, the boxes that you had for marriage as a 19, 20, 21 year old are going to be different than what you have now in your mid 30s. Tricia is slow, y'all. I'm telling you. So Destiny is like, you're gonna go through this grieving period. Tricia is like, nope, it's been over a while ago. Destiny want her to grieve her marriage so bad. If she says she's okay with it, Destiny, she's okay with it. Again, you cannot compare y'all two situations. They're very, very different. So Tricia said that Ken being so peaceful about everything is kind of pissing her off too. She wants Ken to be super toxic, and that's probably what attracted her to Marquez because he gives toxic, chaotic energy. So we see Marsau and Tisha. They are at Black, and Tisha is telling him that their son, MJ, has school pictures, senior pictures at 3:30, and I'm like, damn, that boy's in graduating high school already. We really be watching people's kids grow up on TV. That's crazy. So Marceau had no idea. Okay. Tisha said this is just the one for the yearbook. You know, you get the basic yearbook picture. These are not like the official high school or senior pictures. So Marceau was like, keep me up to date on what's going on, whatever the case. I would think you would have known that today, but I guess. So Marceau lets her know Melody is about to stop by. And Tisha's like, oh, she hit you up? And Marceau was like, yeah, so how are y'all doing? Are y'all cool? Tisha said, we're cordial. I think y'all are cool. I mean, I think people, y'all seem cool, right? Cordial is when you only speak to that person because you absolutely have to. You don't hug, you don't really greet that person. You can exist in that person's space. Y'all are cool, Tisha, but whatever. So Tisha said in her confessional that whenever Melody pops up, she got something to get off her chest. And she does today as well. So when Melody gets there, she tells them that, look, I got a text from Martel. Basically, he said y'all been talking shit about me. So she reads the text and says she wanted to come directly to the source because, you know, her, Tisha, and Kimmy have all agreed that they are going to have better communication between the three of them. After reading the text that Tisha and Marceau were saying degrading things about her at field day, Marceau said, look, it was a conversation between me and Martell. I did not talk about you. So Tisha was like, no, no, no. Remember, you did bring up Melody's name that one time. And Marceau was like, yes, my bad, I did. I told Martell that he is the type of man that will call me to ask me if anything happened between him and his wife. And that was after they like got divorced and Marceau like invited her out for drinks, that whole situation. And Melody is like, that's it? And they were like, yes, that's literally it. You weren't brought up any other time, and she wasn't. So Melody is like, why would he just lie like that? Because it's Martell. So now all of a sudden, Marsau was like, yeah, I'm so happy that you came to talk about this. We can get everything out in the open, and that way we don't have this friction or it doesn't blow up into anything bigger. So now Tisha's like Martel is deceitful. He's been deceitful, Tisha. He's been deceitful. But you were the main one acting as if Melody was going crazy when she was telling y'all what Martel was doing. You were the same one that was laughing about it and didn't care. Kimmy was the same one that said, well, Martel is such a good guy. He's just such a good guy. This is just, one bad iterance that he has going on. So it's laughable how now that Martel has turned his venom and set his eyes laser focus on y'all, that now all of a sudden Martel is this horrible person suddenly. He's been a crazy ass nigga. He's been that way. He's been that way. But y'all let y'all such visceral dislike for Melody cloud that. I don't know what it is. So Melody is asking why would he just lie? This was a pointless scene to me. It was because y'all did not just realize that Martel was a liar. Y'all were okay with the stuff that Martel was doing because it was allowing y'all, the Scots, to keep your own personal business off of the show because Melody and Martel were the focus. So y'all didn't care that he tormented her and put all their business out there because, hey, we don't have to talk about our business. We can play the back seat on the show. And now that he is putting y'all shit on Front Street, now, he's a liar. He hasn't been a liar. He has been a liar. He didn't suddenly become a liar. Marceau said that Martel was saying that he had 3 girlfriends, even though he helped him get money or he helped him get work and he loaned him money and all this other type of stuff. Whatever, Marceau. So we then get to Tricia's party for her kids. So she tells Ken that she signed the papers yesterday and asks if she should tell Marquez today. Why do you want to antagonize Marquez so much? Why would you tell him at your children's graduation party or end of school year party, whatever it is? Why would you want to bring that negative conversation into that environment? Tricia's weird. Like, are y'all noticing how giddy and gleeful she is? Like, why do you want to tell him in these weird ass settings? It doesn't make sense to me. So Ken was like, the kids shouldn't see the drama, and they shouldn't. As far as them kids are concerned, y'all are divorced already, so it doesn't matter. So Destiny shows up to the party with Lance. I guess Lance is going to be a part of the show moving forward. Fine. Marquez comes in all black. He looks drunk. He comes in, he looked like he on demon time. He looks like he's about to start some shit. Of course, production makes it seem as if everybody freezes and looks his way when he comes in. I'm sure that didn't happen. So Ken said that Marquez is acting like it was his house. He came in and spoke. He literally came in and spoke. Ken is threatened by Marquez for some reason. I don't understand what it is, but if Ken was as confident in himself and confident in his relationship with Tricia, the little nitpicky childish things that Marquez does would not bother him as much as they do. They just wouldn't. Remember, Ken went on and on about how Marquez thanked him for coming to his kid's graduation. Ignore shit like that. Just ignore it. You're mad that he came in and spoke to everybody? Ken is threatened by him in some capacity. I don't know what it is, but he is threatened by him. So Marquez gathers all the men and wants to take a shot. And then I'm like, why are we okay? Let's take a shot. So then Marquez goes over to Lance, Chris Fletcher. Is my mic on? Okay. Lance, Chris Fletcher, and Maurice, and it's like, y'all, I'm low-key triggered by everything that's going on. This man is around my kids. He's asking for some advice. Chris Fletcher, who remember him and Nell swear up and down that they're people's mentors. We're mentors. We're mentors. We're mentors. This man is asking you for some advice, and your response in the confessional is, I don't know this nigga. So are you really a mentor or not? Because you don't have to know somebody's whole entire life story to give them advice on how to deal with this particular situation so he don't wild the fuck out. I thought that was so weird of Chris. Chris was he was acting disgusted. Completely disgusted that he asked for a little bit of advice. Y'all have never been out and somebody is like, let me run something by you, and they ask you just a basic question, you don't always have to know somebody's full life story to give them advice. He asked for advice on how to not be triggered right now. How to not be triggered in this scenario. You didn't have any advice to give him? That okay, y'all are not mentors. Like I said before, Nell and Chris are not mentors. Because my mentors, ones that I know both in work and in personal, would have jumped right into it and asked a couple questions and got to the business with it. That's silly. That's silly. So Marquez tells the same story about how, Ken and Tricia were talking and all this other type of stuff. It says that he struggles with Ken being there for his friend, for his kids, because he doesn't know him. They never had a conversation about this. It seems like Marquez and Tricia, when they separated, he moved to Atlanta, said to hell with his family and his kids. And now that Ken is, living in the house with the kids and stuff like that, Marquez is struggling with it. Now, should Ken have maybe had some type of conversation with Marquez, considering you know who he is? Probably. Probably. But okay. Okay. So Maurice is basically telling him to keep the end goal in mind and to remember that your kids are out here. So basically, the end goal of this is to be here and to support your child and to celebrate your child. It is not for you to come in here and act a fool and have a dick stinking contest with Ken. So Chris is in the confessional talking about how, I gave him the best advice that I could. You didn't give him any advice. You were disgusted. You felt that when people know you're a mentor, they always want to be mentored. We have seen literally nobody outside of Martell ask you to mentor them on anything. But okay. So Melody shows up to the party and Tricia walks right up to her at the food table and it's like, "Yeah, I found my papers yesterday." Okay. So Melody was like, oh, "Okay, cool." Tricia was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about telling him today." Again, very gleeful, very happy. Like it's like she wants Marquez to act up so that him and Ken can get into it. Because remember, she said that she is pissed off that Ken is so peaceful about this. She wants the toxic masculinity to come out between the two of them, and she wants a fight. That's what she wants. So while Melody is like, "Not at the kids' party. This is for your babies. Let's not do that." So Marquez comes over. He has some liquor in his hand. He's clearly inebriated. Okay. So he's like, "I just want to get some food." So he's like, "This is a lot for me. My emotions are heavy. This is my first time being in this house." And Melody was like, "Oh, that's okay." Tricia was like, "No, it's not. You've been invited over before. You've been inside the house before. You've been in both of your kids' rooms." So then Marquez looks at Melody and was like, "I think I met you before because I know your ex-husband. And Tricia, you know her husband too." And I said, "So what really happened with Martell and Tricia?" Something happened between the two of them. That was wild for Marquez to say, right? So Melody is like, "Whoa." Whoa, like what do we have going on here? Marquez then asks her, Melody, "How do you co-parent with somebody that is a trigger?" Melody said, "Well, the best way to deal with triggers is to not be a trigger yourself. I can tell that Trisha's energy is a trigger for you." So Trisha gets offended, but I mean, Marquez is a trigger. Marquez was drunk. He's annoying. He's overly emotional. But I also feel like Trisha got real hype about it too. If he said this is his first time coming over, there was a different way to be like, "You have been over here," and start going off the way that she did. They trigger each other. But like Melody said, they're high school sweethearts. They know each other back and forth. So Melody said that some of Trisha's energy is triggering. Trisha said, "Well, I speak in silent. He speaks out loud." I was with Melody. You speaking out loud right now? You the only one yelling. You the only one with your voice elevated. So Trisha and Marquez start going back and forth, whatever the case, before she walks away. So next we see Ken giving a speech. And he said he wants to thank all the parents, me and Trish, and then, everybody that's a parent out there, and purposely excludes Marquez. Marquez, you have not been in your children's life for the past 5 years. You have not been. Ken did that to be shady, though. He did it to be shady. So, but Marquez, like, what did you expect? He don't like you, and you haven't been taking care of your kids. So Marquez then stands up and kind of walks over to like where the family is standing up and was like, hi, I'm the father. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I thought it was okay. At least we're getting new drama. Everything is not revolving around Martell and Melody. So the new drama with Tricia, Ken, and Marquez is something. Okay, it's something. It's entertaining enough. All right. So do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.